my name is Sharon and I'm a speech pathologist, and welcome to What's in the Box. And today we're going to have some cooking fun. So number one thing I need to do for cooking fun is wash my hands. So I'm just going to come over here and wash my hands with soap and water. Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday dear Sharon, happy birthday to me. And I'm going to keep telling you some of the fun things that we're going to do. We're going to have a look at changes of state when we're cooking, and some of the advantages of cooking, so that children learn really great skills. So they learn that things take a long time to cook. They learn to wait. I'm just going to make sure I dry my hands super well. It's an activity of daily life, and it's an important thing to have in your routine. So as we get older, most people will cook meals for themselves. So it's a very important skill to have. You learn to measure, you learn changes of state. So one of the cool things that we have here is I've got some ice. Oh, it's freezing, it's so cold. And as the ice sits here, we're going to see that it melts and turns into water. So that's one interesting change of state that can happen. Other things that we can do lots of measuring. So I'm going to measure out here. Hang on. I've got some plain flour and I'm going to measure, here we go, I'm measuring half a cup with this little measuring cup, half a cup of plain flour, which we can see over here currently is in a powdered state. Now I'm going to add a half a cup of water and we're going to make it go to a gluey state. And we could do some paper mache with this. We could give it a good stir. We might even add a bit more than what we've got. There we go. We could stir this up and we could do strips of newspaper or magazine, and we could dip it into our new gluey consistency. So we put water and powder together and now we've got a gluey consistency. We could dip our bits of strips of paper in, then we could stick it on top of a blown up balloon or some other kind of cast, and then we could make a paper mache, all kinds of things you can make with paper mache, so that's quite a fun thing to do, and it's a good learning experience for children that comes out with something fun. So that's a gluey consistency, so that's an interesting change of state. And look at this. We're always tidy up as we go, because a very important thing about cooking is cleaning up. That's a super great skill to have as well. Jelly is another interesting thing that you can do, and obviously you use boiling water, you pour it into the jelly and then you put it in the fridge and it goes all jelly like. Obviously in kitchens we always supervise children because we have sharp things and we have hot things, and you know that needs to be supervised. The other thing that we could do that is super interesting is proteins. This is an egg I've cracked earlier, and even when I was at uni we were still working out what happens to protein when you add heat. So I'm just going to go and add some heat on my cooker over there to this egg. We're all made of protein as well. Our bodies are protein. So you can talk about things with children like be careful when you add heat. So when you're out in the sun and you're not drinking enough water, or even when you are, your body can be affected by too much heat as well. So these are good things that kids can learn about how to look after themselves as well. So that's cooking away, so that's fantastic. So the other fun thing that I like to do, I quite like to do a volcano in the sand. So you build it up, you put a big hole in the middle of it, and this is a fun change of state that we can do here. Now you need to keep a close eye on this because some gas happens here, as well as going from being a powder. So this is a teaspoon of bicarb soda. You can just see how that works. I've got some green food colouring. If I was doing a volcano in the sand pit, I'd probably do red so that it's all out over the side of it. It's definitely going to get messy. Okay, I'm going to pour in a little bit. So nothing happens really, nothing much, when we just pour that green, still we've got the green liquid and we've got the powder, the bicarb powder, but when we add vinegar, it's awesome. So watch what happens when I do this. Whoop! Oh, we've got gas as well. Ooh, and we can swirl that around, and that is really fun. If that comes in up out of a volcano or something, kids think that's awesome, and that is really good fun. And then it turns into red food colouring mud or green food colouring mud, whatever, and you know, you can have really lots of fun with all of that as well and pretend play. Look what's happened. My ice has gone to liquid, from a solid to a liquid. So that's a bit interesting. You can look at the change of state with a normal cake mix. This one ends up with a sauce at the bottom and a cake at the top. So the children can obviously help do all the stirring and all the cracking of eggs and all those sorts of things, and then they wait for it, and you can point out the different changes of state. So, you know, building it into your everyday life and the things that you're doing anyway, it helps with activities of daily life, it helps with building memory and attention, it helps with following instructions, it helps with being able to have joint attention to something, so both of you looking at something. So it can be adjusted to any age child and any level of development. If we have a look at my egg, I'm pretty sure he's gone a bit solid, which is also really interesting. And I've turned the heat off, so we're all good. And there we go. My cracked egg here has gone from a liquid to a solid. So these are all really cool things to actually do for children, so that they start looking at measuring and they start looking at changes of state and they start to explore the world, which is really awesome. And I think what it also does, if you get to eat what you cook, that's always fun, and it also helps mum in the kitchen, and then you can do all the cleaning up. And even when I've worked in high schools, that has been one of the really important skills, to know that you wash your hands, you put your apron on, you get your ingredients out, you measure your ingredients, you put it all together, you need to wait, you lay a table, you sit together and have social conversation perhaps, and then when you're finished, you clean up and you take turns and you do all kinds of fun things that are everyday life skills. That's what was in the box today. Bye!